Hi everyone. So to talk about the armamentarium that we use for the atraumatic extraction course, there are a few armamentarium tools that I want to bring to your attention. These are what I consider to be the workhorses of atraumatic extraction. Sure, you can invest in fancy gadgets to perform your extractions. However, these are what I consider to be the main workhorses of atraumatic extraction. These are called power elevators. Essentially, those of you who have done a lot of extractions or are familiar with extractions, you've heard of the physics forceps. This is basically a variation of the physics forceps. It has a pad and it has a leverage end. But here's the beautiful part. The pad swivels, which allows you to then extract the tooth from not simply from a front angle, which is the way the physics forceps work, but you can actually approach the tooth from just about any angle. There's one for the buccal end, there's one for the lingual end. And so for example, if I wanted to extract this molar, this upper molar, I would put this pad over the tooth and I would then rock it toward the palatal. And you see how the pad acts like a fulcrum, and I can perform that extraction. You rock it toward the palate, and then after that you put it down. You take the other pad and then you rock it toward the buccal, and you just lift it up. And so as you can see, this is basically a class 1 lever, and a class 1 lever uses the benefit of a fulcrum, which then magnifies the force of the leverage. Okay, so for example, this tooth, as you can see, used to be flush, and now it is basically elevated out of the socket. You can now take a standard molar forceps and just grab it and pull it out because the whole thing is already loose. It also applies to anterior teeth. So for example, the very common one is you have a patient who comes and sees you and they have a fractured central incisor, and you want to take it out. Now with the physics forceps before, you would put the bumper on the labial aspect and you would lever it out. However, because the fulcrum is on the buccal plate, very often the buccal plate will break. The beautiful thing about this is that you can do exactly the same thing as the physics forceps. You can lever it toward the buccal, but here's the beautiful thing. You can also use the other forceps and you can lever it toward the palate, like so. Okay, now I wanted to just show you the way we handle these power elevators. The power elevators, you don't grab it as if you're grabbing a standard forceps. You actually grab the bumper part with the brunt of your hand. And then you simply use your thumb or your pinky to stabilize the hook end. So the hook end is actually just being stabilized by a thumb or a pinky. Okay? And so let me demo it. We're gonna have the camera zoom out a little bit so you can see what I mean. There's no squeezing action as if you were grabbing a standard forceps. You hold the bumper end, you take the bumper, you place it against the palatal area or the fulcrum, and you simply engage the tooth and you roll it. It's a wrist action. It's no squeezing. It's a wrist action where you just lift it and the tooth comes out. On the other hand, you can also apply it labially. You grab the bumper, okay? And watch my fingers. I'm just stabilizing with my pinky. You can lift it this way. Okay? So essentially what I'm trying to say is that with the physics forceps, you basically needed 4 forceps to get the job done. You needed left, center, right for the maxillary and 1 for the mandible. With the power elevators, you only need these 2, and you can take out just about any tooth that is in the mouth. So having said that, this is my bread and butter. This is my go-to for any extraction. These are called power elevators, and these bumpers can be re-sterilized. Okay, and of course they sell you more bumpers so you can replace it. and these work very well. These are what I would consider the workhorses of extractions. And it's just 2 of these, and you can take out any tooth in the mouth.